Greetings, my beautiful lovelies, it's Emmy. Welcome back. Today I'm going to be making a cake out of tortillas. Today's video is actually dedicated to Kenny Shopsin, who passed last year. If you don't know Kenny Shopsin, he was the great proprietor of Shopsin's General Store, a New York institution to be sure. I first learned about Kenny and his shop from a documentary called I Like Killing Flies, which I highly recommend, and it just follows Kenny and the stores and the kind of just eccentricities that was Kenny's shop and his store. Actually, the restaurant still is open. It is now run by his children, and I have never actually eaten there, but I hope to do so sometime in the future. It is notorious for its crazy, creative, and very lengthy menus, but of course it was most famous because of Kenny and his kind of larger-than-life attitude on life and people. He was famous for kicking people out and just being very brusque, but in the end he showed his love through his food. So today's recipe was inspired by Kenny and of course his book called Eat Me, The Food and Philosophy of Kenny Shopsin. My copy that I had to return back to the library because it was almost overdue. I definitely recommend checking out the book. It's to me less of a cookbook, although it contains lots of recipes, but more about a philosophy on how to approach food and not to be afraid of food, and how food doesn't have to be what other people tell you it has to be. It is a creative outlet, and you can create your own techniques and your own methodologies based on your own personal taste and ideas. I love that. There's a lot of creativity in that book and a lot of kind of bending of rules or invention of rules, which I think should be done more often in the kitchen, particularly if it's your kitchen. So today's recipe is a great example of that philosophy because I'm going to be taking flour tortillas and I'm going to be turning them into French crepes, or a faux French crepe, by dipping them in an egg wash bath. But I'm going to take it a little bit farther and I'm going to make it into a Mille Crepe cake, which is that kind of 1,000 crepe cake that you've probably seen all over the interwebs. And I'm going to just use a little bit of Nutella as my glue. I'm going to stack all the crepes together and make this beautiful Nutella crepe cake, except it's going to be made with flour tortillas. Can't wait to see if this recipe actually turns out. I don't see why it wouldn't. And yes, let's go ahead and get started. So Kenny's recipe is for one 12-inch tortilla, and today I'm going to be using these tiny ones because I want to make a cake. So I'm going to scale this recipe up, and I'm going to be using 6 eggs. And for each egg, we're going to use 1 tablespoon of heavy cream. So 6 tablespoons of heavy cream. We're just going to put a little splash of vanilla. So now we're just going to whisk this up. I almost forgot to tell you what a crepe or a crepe is. A crepe is a thin French-style pancake. It's very, very, very thin, and it's often filled with either savory or sweet ingredients and kind of rolled up and served warm. It's notoriously tricky because it is so thin. You have to get your pan at the correct temperature. You have to pour the batter. It has to be the right consistency, and you have to be careful when you flip it not to tear it. Also notoriously labor-intensive because you have to make a lot of the crepes because the crepes are so thin. You have to make several per person, and it just takes a good amount of time. So this will shave a lot of time off because our crepes are essentially done. So next we're just going to take the tortillas, dip them in the egg wash, make sure to completely submerge them, and then I'm going to lay them onto a cookie sheet. And then I'm just going to pour the leftover batter right on top. Alrighty, so my tortillas are soaking. I've got my griddle preheated. I just got this in the mail today. I ordered it a week ago and I'm so excited about this. This is my Zojirushi grill top. Oh yes, if you haven't seen my Zojirushi bread maker that I got from the thrift store video, definitely check that out. This did not come to the thrift store. I actually purchased this, but I'm so excited about it because I can make so many great things. Got myself some butter. We're going to give ourselves a nice coating. I'm just gonna use my hands because that's, I'm sure, what Kenny would do. Take my tortilla, plop it right on. And just a minute on each side, Kenny says. Yep, that's it. That's it. Oh my gosh, so fast. I'm loving this already. Okay, holy crap. This is quick. Okay, that's it. One. That's so fast. Okay, keep going. All right, so I'm gonna let these crepes cool off a bit before we glue them together with Nutella to make a cake. Okay, be right back. Alrighty, so now we're ready to assemble our cake. I've got a little cake stand here. I put a little bit of wax paper, and that will keep the stand clean. Actually, I should taste one of these. So I have to say, by the looks of them, they look like tortillas coated in egg. They don't look all that crepey. I guess when you roll them up, it looks a little bit more like a crepe. Itadakimasu. At first, the tortilla flavor doesn't come through at all. I'm like, wow, that is pretty crepe-like. But I do taste it a little bit in the end. It's a little bit chewy, definitely eggy. Not at all sweet. It definitely needs some kind of filling, whether it be strawberries or Nutella or whipped cream. The tortilla's texture has been changed a bit. It's a little bit more elastic, a little bit chewier, and definitely richer in flavor because we've dipped it in the egg. So yeah, not bad, but it definitely needs a filling. Alone, it tastes pretty plain. So that's what we're gonna do next, is stuff this thing with Nutella. I think that would be a Kenny approved filling. In fact, on his menu, he includes Nutella as an option for his crepes. Put a healthy dollop on there. So while doing this process, I'm having bologna layered cake flashbacks. If you haven't seen that recipe, please check it out. It is incredible. You just take bologna and you layer it with seasoned cream cheese in between, and then you cut it and it's absolutely stunning. Next layer. Place our next layer on top. Give it a good smush, dollop of Nutella, and we're gonna move that around, trying not to have the layers slide. Next layer. So that's 3. I feel like the count's 3. Is the count even on Sesame Street anymore? He kind of scared me a little bit when I was a kid, because I'm just like, why are you so excited about numbers, and why do you have to do the thing? I mean, really? Count? You know who used to really scare me on Sesame Street was Don Music. He was the composer that would sit at the piano and he would forget the last word of the song and then proceed to bang his head on the piano. That terrified me as a kid. It was just like, whoa, man, take it easy. No need to, self-harm. Just take a breath. It'll come to you. Oh my gosh. Although I've showed that video to my children and they love it. They think it's so funny. They're like, oh, it's Mary had a little lamb. And then I'm sitting there like, no, don't hurt yourself, Dawn. It's all good. Just goes to show people are all different. Okay, I'm gonna keep doing this until I have a nice tall cake, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, we are back, and here is the crepe tortilla cake. This is 18 layers of crepe tortilla with a lot of Nutella. Let's remove all the wax paper from around the base. So there we have it, and I have to say it doesn't look too bad, although you can see that there's a distinction between the egg and the crepe, or the tortilla, I should say. And I've let this cool for a little bit. It's been chilling for maybe about 45 minutes, an hour, and now we're ready to slice into this thing. All right, here we go. Oh, it's actually not sliding too much, which is good. Oh, I don't want the layers to cut too badly. Okay, that was a little dicey, a little dicey. A little bit sketchier. Okay, I think I'm through. Oh my goodness, look at that! Alrighty, so there is the beautiful tortilla crepe cake. And I'm pretty pretty happy with the way it turned out. You can see all the layers, although I do have to say it was very tricky to cut because while you're slicing it, all the layers kind of want to slip slide. Although Nutella is pretty malleable, but maybe placing this in the freezer for an hour or two, or maybe even overnight, and then taking it out and letting it kind of warm up at room temperature before slicing it would help keep it from kind of slip sliding around. Oh no. What a mess. Oh no. Okay, so that's not gonna work. I'm just gonna have to cut it like that. Alrighty, this one goes out to you, Kenny. Itadakimasu. And that's pretty good in a processed Nutella kind of way because there is a lot of Nutella in there. Now that the crepe has completely cooled, the texture has changed a bit. It's not as soft and fluffy and supple and eggy as it was before. There's less pronounced kind of eggy crepe-like flavor to it, and it has more of a texture of a tortilla. But lots of tortilla dipped and enrobed in Nutella. It's kind of reminiscent of a chocolate glazed donut in terms of flavor. It's that processed chocolate flavor with a little bit of hazelnut. It's still pretty tasty, but in terms of texture, a lot less crepe-like now that it's cold. But a lot of Nutella in there to make up for it. Alrighty, so there you have it, a Kenny Shopsin Mille Crepe inspired cake. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. I hope you guys learned something. Please share this video with your friends. Follow me on social media, like this video, subscribe, and I shall see you in the next one. Toodaloo, take care, bye! I feel like I have Nutella all over my face.